Now, straight away, I'm going to introduce you, because he's a very remarkable man, and he's done something very remarkable for us. He's fulfilled a promise to come and open the show. This is Mu'taz Sawwaf. He's fulfilled a promise, and he came out of war-torn Beirut this week. He left his wife and his daughter, who are supposed to be coming behind, and I hope they're safe and well. We thank you. So first of all, before I introduce him, I want a warm London to give the man from Beirut a big round of applause. I'll get back to you in a moment. First of all, the very important, what I want to say is thank you to everybody who's turned up and who keeps turning up year after year. This is our 40th year of the annual Illustrators in Ryder Street. We do a catalogue every year, we do a huge show every year, and you turn up every year, and I thank you for it. All the team thank you for it. They put in hundreds of hours of work. We've shown thousands of pictures over the 45 years of it. I did it at home until the church commissioners found out. And then I was forced into Ryder Street. So for 45 years I've been doing Illustrators, been producing that catalogue. And I thank you for buying it. I thank all the museums and libraries that take it, because it is the literature on the subject. I thank my team, but most of all, I thank you. So thank you for coming once again, and I hope you enjoy the show. Now, we have a remarkable owner today. We have Mu'taz Sawwaf, who, when I thought about it today, Mu'taz, I said, would I do anything different again after all those 45 years?
No?
Yes, I would.
Sorry, let me have one statement. Yes. I just told you today, you should be the best art collectors of comics. Now comics is the field more than cartoons, and you should be a major player in this field, especially for England and USA. France and America already playing big field in this, and there is a lot of money in comics than in cartoons.
Not interested in money.
Yes, but I'm so well known here. You should be a major player.
I am a major player in my little bit. If I was doing it all over again, I would take notice of what Mu'taz has, what he's achieved. He has the greatest cartoon and comic art collection in the world. And it's an international collection. We are very parochial, we're only just a little bit of America and English. This man bestrides the Arab world, huge French collection, the Arab world as far as, what, Xanadu? I wanted to get the introduction right, so I'm going to do something which I don't usually do, so you'll forgive me. I don't usually go for a prepared script. But please don't interrupt, this is very important. This is about you, so please be modest. In introduction to this remarkable volume of this remarkable collection, I wrote, I know of no other publication to compare, for the owner of this collection is an internationalist. A travelling man with omnivorous taste and a tendency to interrupt art dealers. Open-minded and responsive to graphic art and never restricted by monocultural concerns. That's true, huh?
Yeah.
To be an international, you need more than a portfolio of air miles and holiday homes around the globe. We have that. You need a taste and an eye for quality that never wavers in the face of the new, challenging imagery in the Babel Tower of modern-day living. An internationalist is a person who moves easily between countries and their cultures, observing the differences, the idiosyncrasies of custom and thought, sustained by intellectual curiosity. Are you enjoying this? And a feeling of common humanity. That's so important. And that's why he may persuade me to go abroad. This rejoicing in the things that unite us rather than divide us communities. A sense of humour. An individual freedom of speech. A tolerance of dissenting opinion. And the right to a democratically protected family life free from the tyrant and the autocrat. With an entertaining force, it pitches this wonderful, wonderful collection and this sensational book. It pitches between an erudite tone, a roll call of who's who in cartooning, and all the merry razzmatazz of a tabloid paper on speed. Read, laugh, and learn as you follow the trail of graphic delights in this book, whose pathway ends with the feeling that the world is a better place.
Correct.
I hope you get to see the book. You'll have to go into training. It's very heavy, and it's very good value at £60. But please look at it. It is something sensational. So where did a little lad in Beirut in the 60s get to this position?
Okay.
What was the moment, the Damascene moment?
First, let me thank the people coming here to hear this dull conversation. They like it or don't like it. Okay, I thank you for your introduction. And I have to give you a fact that Chris, I know him now almost 25 years. I bought a lot of collection from him, especially in the art of cartoons. My collection, before I proceed here, is I'm more specialist in comics and cartoons, not only cartoons. Comics is really more joy for me than cartoons. And Chris, I just told him today that he should be a major player in comics because now it's the future of the comics. Anyway, I'm Lebanese, I'm French at the same time. I studied in Lebanon, in American University of Beirut, if anybody knows this university. I graduated in 1974, and I have a small history which I wrote it. My brother, who is older than me by 6 years, he went to international college. I went to a Muslim college, I'm Muslim. So by 12 years old, my brother was already 18. He was studying at IC, and he started to read Mad magazine. Because there, in the international college, which is American, the comics and cartoons at that time is well known. So I stole from him these magazines, and I got stuck with cartoons and comics. And by nature, I started drawing. Then, when I reached the age to enter university, I insisted to my father that I want to be a cartoonist. My father was a wise man. He said, look here, cartoons doesn't pay money. You know, in Middle East, not in Europe, people rarely read cartoons and comics, except what is translated Disney, etc. But the field of cartoons and comics in Middle East is not well known at that time. I'm talking about in 71, 69, around this year. He said, okay, I'll give you a promise. I will let you study cartoons and you study architecture, because he said it's very near to art. And then when you graduate, you decide. And that's what he did. We did it during what we call the civil war we have in Lebanon, which started in 1978 till 90. I studied both. Actually, I studied at Botlottry Studio here. I took a degree in animation. I took a degree in American University of Beirut architecture. And actually, I started 1 year cartoons and web animation in France. What happened that I have a very dear partner, Basim Ziadi. He went to Sharjah. This is the first time we hear about Sharjah, Dubai. At that time, I'm talking about in the early years. He said, you're stupid, what are you doing? Come and work there. There's a lot of money in architecture. So I stayed another 2 months. Then one day, suddenly I stopped. I decided, yes, my father was correct. And I went on architecture, and then I built my fortune and business. That's the story I have. But what I did all these years, that I kept the business of cartoons and comics as a passion. And as amateur, I used to draw during my time. Then I decided in 1990 to establish a small publishing house called Tush Fish. Now in Arabic, Tush Fish, it means in English, I don't know how to translate it. It's a very famous Syrian word. It says, don't waste your time. The whole purpose of this is don't waste your time, this statement. So I started publishing small magazines, books, etc. For me, the money was not important. I make it like an NGO. I said it's my mission now to encourage Arab cartoonists and Arab artists to be well known in the Middle East, because we have a very, very good artist, but nobody knows them internationally, neither in the USA, in Europe, and America. So I made it my mission to do this. Then as we went along, and I decided, I opened a center at the American University of Beirut, where I made it a mission that we publish articles, art, about the Arab artists, about the culture of cartoons and artists in the Middle East. We created a yearly award called the Kahil Award. That's the name of a famous Lebanese artist, old, he died since 30 years. And we used to distribute and still distribute 35,000 per year prizes for 4 categories. I was trying to make it as strong as the Rubin Award in the USA, which is a famous, what we call award given to the best cartoonist comics in USA. There is the Angoulême Award, which is in France. They cover all Europe. So my mission now with Kahil Award is really to make it as similar as the both of them. I've been working on this for the last 6-7 years, and we're getting traction on it, which is doing well. Now, I came to my book. I have been collecting original art and comics since 1989. I started buying little by little, then I get to know Chris, and then he told me what are good artists, then I bought. So I built around 400 paintings original, covers all fields from Middle East to Canada, America, China, Japanese, name it, Turkey, all these fields. And I made this collection as a hobby. And what I did when I moved to my new house, I made it as a museum, because most of my drawings were put in the stores. So the whole new house had about 280 drawings displayed in the whole house. And I put pictures in the book. At the same time, I started collecting books. Today I have around 8,000 books of all cartoons and comics in the world, in different languages, in different things. I have books also in 1700, early Japanese manga. All of that, I have a very good collection of classic books. It's a really worthwhile collection. And I have also shown it in this here. Now, the purpose of the book, I explained to Chris and Greg Hill, who is here, is my main editor. He did a good job to produce this book with Chris. I'm saying that through my art collection, there is another mission. Besides, I make the people know about the Middle East, about the artists. I believe cartoon and comics is really art. It's really art. You should see it on the wall, and you should consider it as an art. They used to call it the ninth art, or the Nevium, what we call Paul, Nevium art. Okay? I tried through this book, I'm saying to people, please buy cartoons and comics and put it in your home. It's an art. Appreciate it as a piece of art. And I explained to them. He said, how it is an art? I told you, look here. All famous artists started as a cartoonist. from Picasso and name it. Every single person started as a cartoonist. These famous, including Botero, if you know Botero, Picasso, they started this. Now, a cartoon is, like you say, is a scene. They are drawing a scene. And the artist, like Picasso, he's drawing also a scene. But he expresses it in his own style, and you put it in the painting. So why you consider Picasso as an art, and like our friend Peter Brooks, it's his drawing is really an art. Why is not you put it here?
So interrupt for a moment, but you've already answered all my questions. I'm just going to, I wrote down something I was reading today that you wrote. I think it's a very good quote. What I've said, if it produces an emotional reaction, if you think it is beautiful, he's touching on the aesthetic pleasures, and it makes you reflect, then it is clearly art. And certainly political cartoons make you reflect.
Yes,
Now, you have a particular view, which I'm not sure you truly hold, that you think political cartoons are not really about the politics, they're about just the art.
No. No, let me explain. No.
We'll have to reprint the whole book now.
No, we take our friend Peter. His drawing is really art, but also it has a message. Picasso is an art, and he has a message in his drawing, because everybody can translate his drawing in any way he wants to think about it. It is really the art, the color, the drawing, the feeling, and the message. Now, why we consider comics, here we thought you have only one comics somewhere downstairs.
Down there,
Now, what is really comics? I don't know if everybody knows comics. Comics is a combination of 4 or 5 cartoons. Yani it's a series of story. It could be 3 stories, 3 panels, 6 panels, 12 panels, 1,000 panels. So it's itself, each piece of it is an art. So the whole comics page, if you look at it, is really an art with a message, a story, start from 1 to 10. That is my message. That's what I'm trying to hear. And
I want to pin you down in another way.
I didn't finish it.
No, please don't interrupt me when I'm interrupting.
Okay.
When you buy something, what is the motivation? You can see any amount of pictures, you can learn the whole thing. Why do you have to acquire it? Why do you have to hold it? This is not pejorative, but this is truly asking. Why do you need to have all these things? I've got thousands of pictures, and it was probably due to an unhappy boarding school.
We've been wondering.
No, please be quiet. Well, Alexander, showing us. I think that you completely throw me. You really aren't going to go off the rails. Carry on.
Okay, you interrupt me about the comics, all right? I'm explaining why the comics is an art.
Yes.
No, don't interrupt.
No, I've got to hang on. When I think of something, I've got to hang on. I wanted you to touch more, and I wanted you to have an unusual, modest moment, and really boast of what you do for the awards. This is a huge thing. This is promoting cartoon art amongst the young of the Pan-Arab world.
Yeah.
You said it in passing, but the Khalil Awards, I think, are very, very important.
For me, it's very important.
It's the next generation.
Yes.
Are you collecting for the next generation, and what are you going to do? You're looking very young and healthy, but what are you going to do when you become infirm and you get intimations of mortality? What's going to happen to this collection?
Okay.
What are your plans?
Okay, my collection is divided into my book collection and my art collection. The book collection, I already decided with my wife, Ryder, that when I leave, okay, sometime, nobody will read the 9,000 books I have. She reads them, but I already donated them to the comic center I did at AUB, to their main library. Okay, and already we give them a time. I told my wife Ryder, I give you 5 years after I pass, after you feel the sorrow, etc., etc., etc. Maximum 5 years you donate the book. She said no. I told her no. She said it is your spirit. I told her forget my spirit. Don't worry about my spirit. It's a culture. I want people to understand it. That's important to me. These books are for people to understand. So we agreed on this. Now we come to the art collection. Now the art collection, I'm a businessman, not like you, okay? So all the paintings that has been bought has been targeted to what it will reach later on in price. At the same time that like now I bought 3 of you here painting, I have an idea how it will be enriched and pretty here. So I told my wife, I have only one daughter, young daughter, she's 14 years old. I told her, both of you, you decide when you sell them. I don't care. Because I told them, give them 10 years, you double the money. In this business, I've been following you up. I thought that you would double my money. Your money now, okay? But my wife is fortunately, when we married, she loves cartoon and Snoopy. That's how she buys most of these arts with me. Except when I buy
You're going to keep the Snoopy and the rest goes.
Yes, we have a very nice collection of peanuts.
You've touched on something that is really very interesting to me at my late stage in life, and I'm surrounded by clients who've been with me for years, and they're getting into Masons and Towers. They want to know what to do. And it's a real problem in this country. It's very difficult to get in lieu of tax. It's very difficult to get a museum to take anything. They'll take it perhaps in a whim and stick it in the basement, but they won't show it, or they won't even let a student or enthusiast have access. It's a real problem. I had a trial run with my chum Jeffrey Archer. Over 30 years we put together a great English political, a little bit of American, great political cartoon collection. And then we tried to give it to a museum. And museums would sort of take it. None of them would show it even for part of the year. And only one would have, the Ashmolean would allow access for students. So we said, all right, well, we'll have our museum show, and we put it all into Sotheby's with a big catalogue. We had our museum show, and all the money went to charity. Now, I'm happy to say that the whole thing over the 30 years probably cost £150,000. It made 850. Now, I say this as an exception because if you're buying art from me, you're very optimistic if you think you're going to make a profit.
No. You are not appreciating what you have as an art.
You're not listening.
I think it's a great. I'm a great believer in the marketplace. I don't like the idea of things being shoved into the basements of museums.
Okay.
I think the market should decide, and people should see it in that way. It gets recorded, it gets distributed to hundreds more lunatic collectors like you all around the place when it's sold.
Okay, let me show you a two example. You are putting Edward Sorel, an American artist, you are selling it cheap, 4,000, 5,000.
Yeah.
I bought an Edward Sorel in America through heritage auction, 15 to 20,000. I don't know why you feel they are not good, because the English people might not know who is Edward Sorel, who is an American. People maybe know him. He's a famous, he's really good.
It's wonderful.
Okay, I give you an example. My friend Paul Gravitt sent me a letter 5 days ago. He says the Heritage House in America, I was looking for one painting for Harvey Kurtzman, who is the one who started Mad Magazine. Okay. He has a very fantastic original artworks for the number 1 to 10. Suddenly, page 10, the cover 10 was on the auction. So I jumped. We started 25,000. I'm telling you, 25,000. I couldn't buy it because it reached 280,000 in 3 days. So I show you that comics, people start appreciating this. Okay?
That's an anomalous price. On the whole, art doesn't do this. You get these sudden...
No,
sudden jumps.
Don't be misled by this guy.
But I'm saying something
you
good
make
for
money.
you, because it is the collectors, not the people who go in and out. The collector who gets that anomalous price rise. And Ed Sorel, poor chap, he's the greatest, but he's always been difficult to sell. That is a freak price. He couldn't sell his work. I found difficulty selling his work. I think he's wonderful. I think he's a genius. He gave it for practically nothing to Boston University. It's all in Boston University, and he got a pittance.
Sorry, they're selling it now for 15,000, 20,000. I follow up what he's doing. People do not really understand what they have as an art. If you don't know the business, you don't know it. So I'm trying to explain to everybody, whatever you buy from here, keep it, it makes money.
I agree. I hope you all live so long.
No. You will make money, trust me. And put it and hang it in your house as a piece of art. Please do that.
Thank you. You've been brilliant. I'm glad I didn't have to ask any questions. You can chat with everybody. They'll be wanting to chat to you. In 3 weeks' time, we're going to celebrate the wonderful, and we're going to have a memorial exhibition of the great Ed McLachlan, probably the funniest cartoonist both, in 3 weeks' time. In Monday, 2 weeks, on 9th of December, we're having the Chaotic Cortex, the Surreal Worlds of John Glashan and Glenn Baxter. That hits your mats tomorrow. So that'll be Monday, 13 days from now. You can come back and see these all again, and you can browse through the sensational book.
Bye.
I'm not on the outside as the publisher. Now, I have to admit that I am just the figurehead on this thing. It has been put together, this wonderful material, by Atlantic Publishing, by Greg Hill and his team. It is one of the most beautiful books I've ever been associated with. So I'd like you all to give a little round of applause to Greg, who's here somewhere. And it has very little to do with me.
Yes. Good work.
So thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Mu'taz, thank you.